Hey folks, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my greenhouse. My name is Joe and welcome back to part 2 of this video. I'm going to be showing you flowers from various different types of cacti and other succulent plants. From the cacti, you'll be seeing Mammillarias, you'll be seeing Turbinicarpus, you'll be seeing Thelocacti, you'll be seeing, and so on and so on. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a whole series of flowering cacti and other succulent plants. We're in the second week of May now, and it is, like I say, the flowering this year seems to be going in real pulses, in phases. There's these periods where the cacti are just waiting for temperatures and sunshine to kick in. The amazing thing is that during those few hours of sunshine, that's all it really takes. The cacti will actually grow their buds. Sometimes you can almost just watch how they go from buds to open flowers within about an hour, maybe 2 hours. And that's all it takes, a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of warm temperatures, and the cacti are off and flowering. So let's move over here to this part of the greenhouse, which is actually the sunniest and warmest part of the greenhouse. So it's facing south, and that, of course, here on the northern hemisphere is the side of the greenhouse that faces directly the sun during most of the day. And that's where I've got a whole series of cacti that, really love warm, sunny temperatures. I've got those standing and growing there primarily, and that's obviously because that's the type of location that they like most. Over here I've got a whole tray full of Thelocactus species. So these are particularly beautiful plants, again mainly from Mexico, originating, and they've got the most stunning flowers. I can really recommend cacti from this genus Thelocactus. This amazing flower belongs to Thelocactus hastifer, and Thelocactus hastifer has a quite unique growth form. This plant sort of crawls and has these quite thin connections between the roots and the main stem of the plant that then also has the flowers. Now what else have I got in store for you today? Here's my collection of Coryphanthas and Mammillaria. And this is Mammillaria longiflora. Wonderful Mammillaria with a huge, considering the relatively small size of the actual plant, it's got very large flowers, hence the name longiflora, these elongated long flowers. And there's other Mammillaria here, a number of which are in bloom. Here's Mammillaria honeyana, fantastic Mammillaria that is also a very, very suitable plant for anyone who's starting with this hobby of growing cacti. So Mammillaria honeyana, a beautiful plant for folks who are, beginners, as well as for experienced growers. There's also, behind the Mammillaria honeyana, there's Mammillaria elongata with its wonderful creamy white yellowish flowers. And there's gracilis, Mammillaria gracilis. It too has very nice small white flowers. And, talking about location, that's something that I think everyone, depending on their individual location, wherever you're growing your cacti and other succulent plants, I don't think there's any two locations that are exactly identical. So the trick really is to figure out, depending on where you mainly have your plants, and maybe they're in different locations as well, but figure out the type of locations that you have, especially relative to the brightness, the amount of sun, and also the temperatures that those different locations actually have, especially during the summer, but equally also during the winter. Not everyone can actually keep their plants in the same location during winter and through to the summer and year round, basically in the same location. If you're lucky enough to have a greenhouse, for instance, then that's something that you are probably going to be doing. But many of us growers also, of course, move our cacti, parts of the collection or the entire collection, in between locations. So, they might be on a terrace, on a sunny terrace outside for most of the growing season, and then they're moved inside to a cool location, perhaps in a basement or somewhere inside indoors where there's lower, cooler temperatures, which are suitable for cacti, of course, during the dormancy period. But the point I want to make is, because every growing location is quite unique, it's really important that as a grower, we all find out exactly where those different locations are. And that might even be, on one terrace. You're certainly going to have a spot where the sun is probably more intense and hotter than in another part of the terrace. And so, finding those different locations, the slightly, let's say, shadier, less sunny, cooler locations relative to the really sunny, hot locations. And then to figure out, also which of my plants, which of my cacti actually are coming from areas that resemble most those type of locations. And so if I've got cacti that are really doing well in their natural habitats in very hot, scorching conditions, super dry, perhaps very rocky, hot, then you might actually try and grow those cacti in your warmer, hotter, sunnier parts of your area that you can grow your collection in. While quite a number of other cacti, they prefer maybe half sunny locations or even quite shade-rich, shadier locations. And then, of course, that's where you want to be placing those plants. And yeah, that can take a little while, of course, to figure out exactly, those microclimates, if you like, where they are and which plants will actually do best in those. But it's very worthwhile finding out exactly what those microclimates are that you can offer, and then to also adjust, if you like, and maybe collect, maybe specialize on the type of cacti or other succulent plants or other plants that will do best in those conditions that you can offer. It's much more difficult, believe me, and I've learned over the years the hard way, it's much more difficult to try and adjust plants to your microclimates. If you've got a very sunny, very hot terrace, then there's no point in getting a lot of plants, for example, the Thelocacti, epiphytic cacti. There's no point in trying to get those to grow in a location like that. And equally, if you've got a very shady, very, an area that has very little sun and perhaps not the, warmest of temperatures, there are quite a number of cacti, unfortunately, that will probably not do well in locations like that. For example, Ariocarpuses. Cacti from that genus will probably struggle if they don't get their minimum hours of sunshine and warm temperatures. Lophophora, equally, ferrocacti, You know, they can grow in, let's say, non-ideal conditions. That's something that, you know, cacti are fantastic in adapting to environments, but they will grow, perhaps survive, but they won't thrive, and, you know, unlikely that they will flower in those unsuitable locations. And more likely, you know, at some point they'll be so stressed that you know, they'll be attacked by pests, or you know, they'll get root rot or whatever. And so definitely something to keep well in mind when you start fitting, if you like, your collection, your plants to the conditions that you have and that you can offer them. I hope you enjoyed these flowering cacti and other succulent plants. And if you did, why not subscribe to this channel? Because there's a lot of material on the channel, both already uploaded as well as still upcoming in the future. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope to see you very soon again. Take care, stay safe, and happy growing, of course.